Mulibwanji. Welcome back to the BeOfficial podcast. I'm your host, your guy, Paul Payne 837, and I'm joined with my co-host, Director D's in the house. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on the Uncut Conversations. And today's topic is love trap, while you're settling for less. More so like this. So without further ado, let's roll into the intro.
Mr. 837.
Yes, sir.
How do you develop self-awareness and self-acceptance in a world that often emphasizes external validation?
Okay, that's a very beautiful question. Especially like looking at the topic today, I feel like one or two people, will be greatly helped from what we're going to discuss, So the first thing is regularly meditating to connect with your inner self. I feel this is what I'm also learning to do, just have a bit of some, a little bit of some alone time, because I feel it's very important to reflect on what you yourself and get to know you yourself even more, and clear the clutter and what's going on in the world, because trust me, today I feel there's just a lot that's going on. So it's very important to just like zone out and just be in a place where at least you're having that space to reflect and get to feel the peace, and get to be in touch with the inner person that, we normally neglect, because most of the times we step on ourselves and just throw away what we want, because of generally what the world is doing, what the world is saying, so we mostly gravitate towards that direction and leave out the part of us that really needs our attention the most. The other thing is get input from trusted friends and not just social media. Most often I laugh because I see this happening a lot, where people want to get the validation from social media. So every time, whenever they are going through some things, facing some things, often they'll run to social media and just seek for that external validation out there, which it can be very toxic to you as a person, and can be very detrimental to your inner self, because external validation comes often with rejection, so it's a mixture of a lot of things. So you need to be in a place where you seek from the people that you trust the most, and those are your friends and family, those people who are close to you, because nowadays it has become more about digital than reality, so for me, I think what I prefer the most is having a conversation with somebody in person rather than on the phone, because I feel their presence already just speaks to me, because them having the time to spare and be there for you just like already sets a bar on its own. Like they really care about you, unlike where social media, digital, you don't even know, you can't literally tell if truly that person is truly there for you, or they're just doing it for the sake of clout and all that kind of stuff. But when you have somebody actually in person, you can tell that they truly, because of the body language and all that kind of stuff. The other part is writing down daily about your thoughts and feelings. Yeah, it's very important. There are people who write down. For me, I tend to pour that into songs, but there are moments when I just it's just too much, where it can't fit in a song. Yeah, I will tend to just journal down a bit of my thoughts here and there. But mostly I feel songs help me. Writing songs down really helped me a lot. There was a period when I wasn't recording, but I was just writing songs, writing, whatever that I face. I was just writing songs, man. That fueled me to even write songs. So you find there are songs that I've written, let's say I wrote them 3 years ago, and I'm just recently recording them now. That's the beauty about just journaling down your thoughts and pouring down your heart, because I feel once you let it out, it's more like a relief to you and your inner self mostly. The other part is reduce time spent comparing yourself online. I feel when you spend more time on social media, it starts to a little bit scratch, yourself, and you feel, in as much, trust me, in as much as you may be in a place where you're content, it starts to get to you, like, I wish I can have more, there's just this inner part where you want to have more, like the you're just never content enough, so the more you start seeing these things online, like, I need a better phone. My phone is not. I need a. But what you have is actually what someone actually out there is wishing to have. And trust me, there's no crime in wanting more, but being in a place where you're content. Trust me, I think that's the first step, because even when you get what you're yearning for, you later find out that the hype wasn't even that necessary, Like, why was I even giving myself that hype? Like, I wanted this thing, but now it feels like, So you actually even want more, So being in a place where you just back off from social media a little, you tend to get in touch with reality and see how best, you can, like, navigate the streams of getting to know yourself better and get to know what you really want in life, because social media sometimes can be a blur, so you need to be awake. Yeah. The other part is focus on your own growth, not external approval. Focusing on your own growth is a very cardinal and important path to your purpose, because once you set your goals to getting to know yourself even better, getting to know yourself, what you want, what you love doing, what the people you kind of love hanging around with, I feel nobody can come and define you, because if you're defined by other people, then you don't have an identity for yourself. So being in a place where you where you set yourself to be in a place where you say, okay, cool, I want to be in a place where I get to know myself even better, even when the world gets to throw all these names around or try to set an identity for you. You already know the person that you are, because a lot of people nowadays suffer with identity crisis. And that's true. We are seeing it on a daily basis, man. People are suffering with identity crisis, big time. It's becoming worse than it has ever been. So being in a place where you understand and know who you are and understand who yourself is, I feel it sets a tone apart. Like, nah, you can't tell me that. I know who I am. So nobody will change the path for you. There's a picture that always trends mostly on social media where the crowd is going the other direction and only one person is going the other direction. That's what it is to get to know who you truly are. The other part is accept that flaws are part of being human. I feel sometimes we are not generous enough with ourselves, and we are not human enough to just accept, like, this is part of me. I feel there was a point in my life when I couldn't accept my voice. I battle with that still, but I feel like I'm a little bit lenient now. I used to hate hearing myself, especially when somebody's playing my songs and I'm there. I tend to cringe a little, because there's just that part where, all other things. Probably the person loves whatever that I have done, right? And I'm just there noticing the flows. I'm like, I should have sang better. I should have written better. I should have been in a place where I would have delivered better. So there's always that part of you that's self-criticizing yourself with what you're doing. So being in a place where you accept who you are and accept the flaws that you come with, that it's being part of being human, I feel it tends to set this tone where you are just like comfortable with who you truly are. And I'm at a place where I'm now like, it is what it is. We are just living, and we constantly keep on learning. So have a little grace with yourself and accept that that's you. That's how God uniquely made you. So be in a place where you accept the flaws that you come with. The other part is treat yourself with the same kindness you offer others. For a long time, I felt like I was in a place where I cared more about other people than myself, and to be in that place, trust me, it's very detrimental, because you kill the inner self that you actually are supposed to be looking after. So instead of, showing more love and care to yourself, you tend to pour the empty glass that you have to other people, of which it doesn't end well, you know. When that person leaves, now you feel empty and hollow, and you know it's the type of feeling where it keeps on haunting you. So being in a place where you show yourself more love and more care even helps you look after the other person, or helps you even love the other person more, because you understand how to show empathy, compassion, and kindness to yourself. So that even reflects the type of person that you truly are. The other part is choose the media that uplifts and inspires you. Not on not all news is good news, right? And not everything that you see is true, especially on the internet, man. You have to be very cautious with what you feed in your mind, because it's now a mind game. If I can get to influence you to do some certain things just by me portraying certain things and making them factual, doesn't mean it's factual, you know. So you have to be in a place where you do your self-check each and every news that you see, whatever that you're consuming. Self-check. Not everything you just take literally and just apply it. No, not everybody is living the life that they're showing on social media, you know. So be mindful with the media that you are consuming. Very detrimental to your health. The last part is regularly note things you're thankful for about, especially about yourself, right? Write down the things that you're grateful for always, because I feel we miss that part a lot. Be grateful for what you have now, and being in a place where you are always mindful, and you know, being in a selective part where you see like, okay, this, I'm truly grateful for this, I'm truly grateful for life. You know, I'm just truly grateful for being here today. You know, I'm truly grateful that I have what I have. You know, I'm truly grateful for the good health that I have. You know, these are, they might look to be nothing, you know, but trust me, once you start like visiting hospitals, seeing people in jail cell where you have the freedom and they don't have, now you tend to like really see that what you have is truly, truly, truly precious. So yeah. Director D,
Yeah.
what does it mean to love yourself unconditionally, and how can you practice self-love in daily life?
That's a great question. Loving yourself unconditionally. I think in today's society, that's not something that most people practice. Loving yourself, we always feel the need to attach ourselves to somebody else. We mostly let other people validate our love for ourselves, of which that makes it very hard for you to take the sense to want to dive deep within yourself, find out what makes up you, you know. So I came up with a very good definition of what that looks like, and I'm gonna just get that through. It says, loving yourself unconditionally means accepting and valuing yourself without conditions or judgment. What does this mean? This simply means involving the recognition of oneself and forgiving yourself for the mistakes and nurturing your own well-being despite of the circumstance and the perceived flaws that you might see on yourself. And this kind of love is, you know, mostly self-love. It reflects embracing all the parts of you and treating yourself with the same compassion and kindness that you would somebody else. Just like I earlier alluded, is most times self-love, we look at that of where often at the times we would rather treat somebody else better with love and compassion than we would exercise the same love and compassion for ourselves. Why is that? It's mostly because most of us beat ourselves up because maybe the upbringing that we might have gone through might have not given us the luxury of practicing self-love. I think in our previous podcast we earlier alluded some of the reasons why we tend to behave the way we behave. It's because most of that stems from our bringing, our childhood. Growing up, maybe, you know, you were neglected or you're not shown that much love. That tend to stem from that. Even as you grow up an adult, you mostly might find yourself seeking validation in places where you're supposed to be. But I think just like we picked this topic in today's podcast, is just trying to highlight the fact that number one, self-love is very important. Then we ought to know how to practice that kind of love and compassion for ourselves. Practicing that in a daily life. I think the first thing I would highlight in practicing self-love is positive self-talk. Many times we do self-criticism a lot on ourselves, and we don't take compassion in giving ourselves positive thoughts, positive criticism, positive affirmation that helps us go through our daily life. So the first thing you can do is practice self-talk. Second one is self-care. Self-care simply means prioritizing activities that nourish your body, your mind, and your spirit. And this might be, others love to meditate, others love to take walks, others love to exercise, go to the gym. Some of us foodies, shout outs, we love to eat, so take yourself on a date. It's sad. I think I'll highlight this mostly on men. It's very few that as a guy, you get to take yourself out on a date. You always feel the need that for you to go on a date, you have to pick a lady to go on a date with. But self-love means you taking yourself out, you treating yourself nice, For some of us who love shoes, again, I'm a shoe guy, shoe gang. For some of us that love shoes, I always feel better if I buy myself a pair of shoes, especially Jordan 4s. So when I get myself something, I feel nice. So my self-care routine would involve a meal, a pair of shoes, a good sense of fashion, a good haircut, a clean facial, things like that. So self-care reflects different in everybody else. So find yourself the routines that qualify as self-care for you. The other thing that I would highlight would be setting boundaries, meaning learn to say no and establish boundaries that protect your time and your energy. It's not everything that you're just supposed to run with. Find yourself a set of rules that guarantees your well-being, so that you know that once you step out of that, you know that this is out of my comfort zone. But find yourself, a set of rules that regulate who you are as a person. The other thing I would say is mindfulness and self-compassion, meaning practice being present in the moment. Treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. I think I earlier alluded that we mostly self-criticize ourselves a lot, of which we don't learn to practice the same compassion that we would for somebody else. But then this means being mindful and being compassionate with yourself. And mindful is also the words that you utter to yourself, because many times introverts, I think introverts like me, we struggle. The most difficult thing that we struggle with is the mind. It's because there are many thoughts that run through the brain, and knowing what I say to myself is very important. So I need to be mindful of the words I use, what I'm telling myself, because that kind of detects how my day will run. If I'm able to give myself positive thoughts, a positive mindset, so even as I move throughout my day, I'll have a great time because I'm self-motivated to know that this day will be great. The other one I would say is personal growth, meaning invest in personal growth and development through learning and growth opportunities. Find the things that you want to challenge yourself with and get to pursue that. It's not always good to stay in your comfort zone, but always challenge yourself to learning, finding other things that you might be good at, because you might not know until you try. So always be on that self growth journey of trying out new things, learn, get to meet people, and yeah. Last but not the least, I would say surround yourself with positive positivity. Find yourself a group of people that will help your personal growth, meaning they help you with affirmations that even in your most difficult day that you're struggling, they'll be able to give you positive affirmations that will help you get out of the struggling phase that you might be in, where they tell you you can do this, we got your back. Find yourself a group of people and celebrate your achievements. Many other times we don't celebrate the little milestones that we go through on our journeys, but get to celebrate every little milestone that you get to achieve. When you wait for the big milestones, it might take a while to get them, and then you might forego the little achievements that you've achieved. So I think those are some of the practices that you can practice daily for the self-love that I just earlier mentioned. Yeah, thanks. Mr. 837,
Yes, sir.
how do you prioritize your own needs and desires when others may not understand or support them?
It's funny how the world today has just become so cruel, and especially when it comes to somebody expressing themselves and just being in a place where they really want to, do something with their lives. It's just so harsh how people will just come and destroy a dream. And man, it's insane. Just coming to think about it, it's really insane. So first and foremost, clearly define limits to protect your well-being. I feel you need to create some sort of boundaries, because if you don't have those walls up, trust me, meaning anything can come in. So you need to be in a place where you set those boundaries, and being in a place where you protect your own energy, because some folks out here got really, really, really negative vibes. So be in a place where you're really protecting what you are building, what matters the most to you. And being in a place where you do all those things will really set a tone for you to not accept anything that comes your way. Because that's not my worth, that's not my value, because you understand where you stand from. And being in a place where you get to stand out and learn the person that you are, and not accept anything that comes your way, because I feel we are lost in the process of trying to please others, and we forget that we also need to be in a place where are we okay with the decisions that we are making, rather than me being out there just for the sake of, oh, if I don't say this, if I don't do this, then they might leave me, or I might not be accepted, or all that kind of stuff. So being in a place where you set boundaries is very important. The other part is share your needs openly and assertively. So communicating honestly, I think this is the part that I struggled with for a long time, and I struggled with it for a long time because being afraid of like the other person looking at me a certain type of way, and probably them like just disregarding me and moving and just like, oh, that doesn't mean anything, you feel me? So I really struggled with that for a long time, but coming to understand myself better and just like growing, because you need to grow as a person. Growing mentally and maturely made me understand that I need to be honest enough to, because once I do that, I'm doing it out of kindness and letting the other person know that, this is how I feel, and like I'm at this point in life, and me communicating that with that person really helped both of us by the end of the day. So especially relationship wise, man, I was so broken because I just could just shut down whatever that I was feeling, just completely shut them down and keep them to myself. But now I know better, so communicate honestly and be open, how you feel. Please just let that out. The other part is share your needs openly and value your own desires as much as others. Self-respect is very important. How you carry yourself, how you portray yourself, and it's not everything that you need to be part of. You know, it's not every trend that you need to be part of. It's not every Jim and Jack you need to hang around with, you know. So you need to be at a place where you have some self-respect, and where people, when they just see how you carry, you know, people tend to gravitate on how you carry yourself. If you behave a certain, that's how people are gonna take you, you know. But if they see how much you put respect on yourself, trust me, it's they'll get to understand that, you know, with him or with her, we can't take such useless news. You know, we can't flash away or being in a place where we go and gossip, because that's not the type of person that they are, you know. So being in a place where you understand and put some respect on your name, on yourself, really carries a lot of weight. And seek allies, find supportive people who understand your goals, you know. Yeah, pick one or two people that you see that you align with and rock with them, you know. Go with them, because I feel by the end of the day, more is actually really powerful, because you get very far. You know, being alone is great, but by the end of the day, having a group and a team where you guys are able to, you know, harness the same energy and share the same goals and same dreams and all that kind of stuff will really, you know, take you further and set a different tone. Limit toxic influences. Distance yourself from unsupportive individuals. Brah. I can't emphasize this enough. I can't emphasize this enough, because this is something that I got to learn the hard way. And I had to be hated, because now I'm acting different. To some people, I've changed. Yeah, I now understand what I'm worth. You know, I now understand what my happiness costs. You know, because I don't want individuals that will just come and invoke toxicity or trying to take me back to my past or the things that I no longer rock with anymore. You know, so it's very important being in a place where you understand and know that you being around a certain person invokes a certain type of feeling with you, you know. So it's not that you hate them or any kind of thing, but it's like, yo, I love you so much, but you can't feed on my table, you know. Yeah, you know, may God bless you and, you know, rock on your table, but, you know, I can't allow you back, because probably of the things that you guys had to handle, go through, you know. So it's very important to guard and remove toxicity away. The other part is believe in your own judgment and feelings. Trust your own instincts, man. Trust your own instincts. Your gut feeling is very important. Just understand that what am I feeling? You know, there are people you have seen in your life and there's just been something off about them. But most of the times we tend to ignore that, you know. Don't. Trust your instinct, trust your gut feeling. There's sometimes when you know what you're doing is not right. Like, learn to trust that, you know. You know that I need to do this, but yet it's like, and look, you tend to regret at a later moment, you know. So there are moments when there's something that has come along and you can feel that this is a good thing, you know, and rock with it. You know, there are certain opportunities that have come my way, but because my gut feeling or my instinct could tell me, like, this is not right at this time, you know, it's not right at this point. The opportunity is great, but it's not right at this time, you know, and I've backed away from that, and I've later on realized that, okay, you know, that's God's doing by the end of the day. So yeah, so trust your instincts and make time for activities that fulfill you. Schedule self-care, very important. Learn to be in a place where you have fun. Enjoy life. You know, enjoy the things that you want to do. People want to be spoiled, but hence they want somebody to spoil them. And then later neglect that part where you learn to discover yourself. You want something that is worth 1,000? Buy yourself something that is worth 1,000. Don't wait for somebody to do that for you. You know, you want to go out to your favorite restaurant, but yet you're waiting for somebody to take you out to your favorite restaurant. Like, learn to look after yourself. You know, learn to love you for who you are. You know, learn to treat yourself better. Don't wait for people to come and treat yourself better. Hence, that shows that they have more power over you, and they'll tend to push you wherever they want because they know they feed you, man. Say no. Refuse requests that compromise your priorities. I feel sometime somebody told me I I don't have a no, right? And I had to go and kind of like have a self check because I was like, do they like is that true, you know? I had to self check that a little. And I think there was a point when I felt like I couldn't just say no to, especially like the people who are close to me, right? Where we develop something. And that was true, you know. So it really helps you relieve out certain type of things when you have no in your mouth, you know. A lot of no's can really save you a lot of time, you know. I used to do a lot of favors for people, you know. I used to really do a lot of favors for people. And this is the reason why, even on my socials, I don't even have my number there because it's more like, oh, come on, some requests that could come. I couldn't say no because I'm looking at, oh, I know this person, we've been around together, but in that moment, I couldn't learn to self-check with myself. Like, am I okay with the decision I'm making? You know, like, is this fine with me? Even when I was busy, I couldn't just tell them, okay, I'm busy, I can't do this. You know, feeling like I was on alarm and all that kind of stuff. You know, like, oh, come on. So I had to learn that the hard way. But learn to say no when you're not feeling it. Stay focused on your goals clear. Keep your goals clear and revisit them regularly. Always self-check on your things that you have put up, you know, and visit them on a regular basis so that you keep track with where you're going, you know, so that you keep, you know, fine-tuning and, you know, leveling up things a little. So always learn to fine-tune all your goals that you have set, visit them, check, read them aloud, you know, have that self-affirmation and just keep on rocking and rocking and rocking. And the other part is acknowledge and reward your achievements. Gee, we've been shutting down Spotify on lately, you know, and yeah, we are learning to have all these self achievements where we celebrate more because I feel most of the times we never did that, you know, because just 10,000 streams, 100,000 streams, but now it's like we're at a point whereby now, you know, when the money starts coming in and all that kind of stuff, bruh. Even 1,000 streams will celebrate, you know, because it's really a fun thing to do, especially when you set all these goals for you and you start nailing them, right? It's very important to just like be in a place where you appreciate yourself and acknowledge all these things because trust me, that will give you an extra morale to actually even push more further and be in a place where, you know, you actually head to go and kill some more goals. So, yeah. Director D.
Yes.
What are some ways to cultivate inner happiness and fulfillment beyond external success or achievements?
Good question. I think some of the ways we can cultivate inner happiness and fulfillment. Number one, I think developing a sense of commitment and peace that is dependent on things that are outside your external parameter. I think one of the practices that I'll highlight is gratitude. We need to practice gratitude. What does this mean? Regularly taking time to reflect on and appreciate the positive aspects of your life. I think in today's, very few of us love journaling. I'm one of the people that loves to write. So mostly you find I take time to journal down things I'm grateful for. In that way, it helps me practice my gratitude, not only through life, but also through a higher power, #GOD, meaning that I get to write things I'm grateful for, things that God has seen me through and what life has taught me. So I get to write, and that helps me reflect on things that I'm grateful for. So the other one I would say purpose and meaning. What does this entail? Identify and engage in activities that give your life meaning and align with your values. This could be work, volunteering, creative pursuits, or relationship. I think most of us lack the sense of purpose in life. I think the sooner you find the purpose for your life, the more nourishing you get to outlive your life, because you would have found the sense of meaning of why you're on this earth. Because most of us go through life without figuring out exactly why we were put on this earth. So the sooner you find purpose, the sooner you get the meaning for your life, and the better you get to enjoy every experience of your day, because you would have known that throughout the day you're fulfilling your life purpose. Yeah. The other thing I would say would be connecting with others, meaning build and maintain meaningful relationships that have a deep, authentic, and supportive system that helps you through navigating life when both when it's going great and when it's not going great. So I think mostly it's important. If Jesus Christ had 12 disciples, who are you not to have your community that help you throughout your journey? So yeah, find yourself a community that supports you throughout your journey. Yeah. And the other thing I would say is simplification, meaning reduce clutter and simplify your life to focus on what truly matters. This can involve decluttering your physical space, minimizing commitments, or managing digital distractions. There's so much noise today, society, especially if you go to social media. This one is saying this one is saying that. It's like everybody's opinions are being thrown on somebody else for them to accept them. It's no longer about your opinion is your opinion. It's like my opinion, I want to throw it on somebody else and making sure they accept that, of which that's not the case. So find yourself in a space where you denoise that and find simplicity in the little things that give you inner peace, because there's so much noise out there. So just shutting off not only the digital aspect, but shutting off the things that no longer bring you peace, turning off the noise in gossip, talking about other people, just finding the simplicity in the little space that give you peace. Yeah, and living through that. I think the last thing I would highlight would be acceptance and nature and creativity. What does this entail? Number one, acceptance, meaning practice accepting yourself and your life as they are, rather than constantly striving for change. Sometimes we tend to cruise through life and not enjoying every moment that we are in. So don't give up on your goals, but find peace in the current state that you're in. As much as we set out goals that we want to achieve, but even as you are going through each and every goal, as you're ticking each and every goal on your calendar, making sure that you enjoy every moment of it. And through nature and creativity, meaning spend time in nature and engage in creative activities. These things can both bring joy and relaxation. I think besides, I think I earlier mentioned, like for me, I love nature. And besides food, when it comes to self-care, besides food, shoes, and a sense of clothing, and a good self-care routine, I think for me, I love to be outdoors. I love to explore. I love to learn other things. And amongst all of that, that brings me in a place where if I might have been stuck in one area when I'm outdoors in nature that brings me a sense of creativity that if I had a block in one area, suddenly that unlocks when I find myself in a nature environment that gets me to appreciate the beauty in the creation of what God did. So that works for me, and this is a sense of me saying this to somebody else, that you can find success outside of that when you practice some of these things that I've mentioned here. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us today on the BeOfficial podcast. I've been your host, Director D, my co-host Popane837. I just want to say that we thank you guys so much for the love and support that you've been showing and keep showing. Keep sharing, keep commenting, letting us know what you think on each and every topic that we discuss on the BeOfficial podcast. And continue liking, subscribing, and commenting and sharing on all platforms. It's at BeOfficial Podcast, YouTube at BeOfficial Podcast, Instagram at BeOfficial Podcast, TikTok, and at BeOfficial Podcast, Facebook. Thank you guys so much, and catch you next time. Peace out.